who are once again remembered. I have stood with you on many occasions, and yet each visit is as moving as the first.
In a moment of weakness, the Duke of Kent is revealing a secret long guarded within the royal family from his sickbed, one that ties the late Queen's private command to a hidden treasure meant for Catherine. This startling revelation, delivered when few expected him to speak at all, peels back the velvet curtain of royal tradition and hints at a legacy of mystery, loyalty, and carefully concealed wealth. So, what exactly did he say? Join us as we uncover the shocking revelation by the Duke of Kent concerning Catherine. An order meant for Catherine. Prince Edward, the Duke of Kent, a man remembered for his lifetime of loyalty to the crown, reached the evening of his years with a heavy heart. His health was failing, and his once tireless body, which had carried him through decades of public duty, could no longer keep pace. Those close to the royal family noticed the change. His daughter, Lady Helen Taylor, even admitted in interviews that her father was finding it difficult to continue the responsibilities he had upheld with such devotion for so long. It was in these final days, with his strength fading and surrounded by those dearest to him, that the Duke decided he could no longer carry the weight of a secret he had kept close to his heart since the reign of Queen Elizabeth II. It was not a simple family keepsake or a gentle word of advice passed down. It was something much greater, a decree meant for Catherine, the Princess of Wales. Hidden within this decree was not only an extraordinary level of influence inside the royal household, but also the legacy of a priceless pink diamond necklace, a treasure that represented the late Queen's profound trust. The story of this revelation has captured imaginations everywhere, for it speaks of loyalty, hidden promises, and the passing of a vision from one generation to the next. And at the center of it all is the unique bond between the Duke of Kent and Queen Elizabeth II. As first cousins, their connection was rooted in blood, but it grew deeper through a lifetime of shared duty. Born in 1935, Prince Edward was never destined for the throne, yet he carved out a place of remarkable importance. He served faithfully in the military before retiring in 1976 to dedicate himself fully to the monarchy. For decades, he represented the Queen at events, both great and small, often stepping forward when others could not. Through ceremonies, parades, and countless private gatherings, he became one of her most trusted companions. Those who watched them together knew the Duke was more than just a relative. He was her quiet confidant. He was the one who heard her unspoken thoughts, who understood the burden she carried, and who shared her laughter in moments when only humor could lighten the weight of duty. Their bond was woven from shared values, a devotion to service, a dry and subtle wit, and the unshakable understanding of what it meant to live one's entire life under the gaze of history. By the year 2025, when his own body was weakening and whispers of retirement grew stronger, the Duke could feel time pressing upon him. He knew the moment had come. One evening, in a hushed and private setting, he finally revealed the hidden decree that Queen Elizabeth II had entrusted to him many years before. She had chosen him because she knew his loyalty would never waver, and that he would protect her secret until the right time. The scene was far from a public ceremony. There were no trumpets, no cameras, no grand announcements. Instead, it unfolded in quiet intimacy. Insiders say that Catherine herself was at his bedside, her hand gently clasping his as he spoke in a low, steady voice. His words carried a weight that shook her heart, for they were not only about royal responsibility, but also about the Queen's faith in her. Tears filled Catherine's eyes as she listened, not simply because of the enormity of the message, but because it revealed just how deeply the late Queen had trusted her. From the outside world, Catherine had always appeared composed and graceful, the picture of royal poise. Yet this decree stripped away the surface and revealed something greater, the Queen's vision for her future role, one that was not merely ceremonial, but carried genuine influence over the course of the monarchy. To understand why the Duke had been chosen as the keeper of such a secret, one must look back at the life he lived and the role he played in the Queen's journey. As the son of Prince George, the younger brother of King George VI, Edward grew up close to the royal household, always aware of the shadows cast by the throne. Yet rather than fading in those shadows, he emerged as one of its strongest supports. His years in the military taught him discipline and endurance. After retiring in 1976, he embraced full-time royal duties. He was a steady presence at ceremonies such as Trooping the Colour and countless other engagements where he represented the Queen with quiet dignity. To Elizabeth II, he was not simply family, he was an ally she could always depend upon. Their closeness was strengthened by shared trials and private conversations, where she often confided her concerns and her hopes for the generations to come. It was in one of those private moments during her later years when she too was grappling with her health that she entrusted him with the decree. The instruction was clear. This was for Catherine, and it was meant to grant her a kind of authority that no previous consort had been given. It was not about jewels or titles, nor was it about appearances at ceremonies. It was about power, real, meaningful influence over the direction of the royal family's future. The Queen had admired Catherine from the very beginning. When Prince William and Catherine married in 2011, the Queen gave her formal consent. But behind that official act was a personal belief. She saw in Catherine someone who could balance the weight of tradition with kindness and modern sensibility, much like she herself had done during her own reign. So, what information did the Duke of Kent reveal? Let's find out. The shocking revelation. At the age of 89, with his health showing the clear effects of years of duty and responsibility, the Duke of Kent still tried to carry on with the same determination that had defined his life. But behind closed doors, those closest to him could see the toll it had taken. His steps were slower, his breath shorter, yet his sense of loyalty remained unbroken. In one of his most vulnerable moments, he called Catherine, Princess of Wales, to sit by his side. Family insiders described the scene as deeply moving, a rare glimpse of fragility in a man who had always carried himself with unshakable dignity. It was, they said, the kind of moment that would be remembered alongside other great turning points in royal history. The Duke began not with secrets, but with memories, stories of the late Queen, her wisdom, her steady hand, and the quiet instructions she had given in times of storm. Then, slowly, came the revelation that would change everything. He spoke of a sealed letter, one entrusted to him by Queen Elizabeth II herself, shortly before her death in 2022.
It is with deep sadness that Buckingham Palace has announced Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, the longest reigning monarch in Commonwealth history, has died at the age of 96.
The Duke's voice, weakened but still steady, carried the weight of history as he revealed what was inside. The letter contained a decree unlike any in recent memory, a personal mandate from the Queen that granted Catherine extraordinary authority. She was not simply being honored with symbolic recognition. The decree gave her genuine power, the kind of influence usually reserved for sovereigns themselves. Among the instructions was permission for Catherine to issue royal warrants, a privilege no Princess of Wales had been allowed for more than 100 years. This meant Catherine could publicly endorse companies, granting them the honor of royal approval, an action that could influence billions of pounds in the economy. The Queen had foreseen the importance of this, realizing Catherine would need such tools to support Prince William and to help guide the monarchy into a new, modern era. But the decree was not only about duties and decisions. Alongside the words came something tangible and priceless: the passing down of a pink diamond necklace, a jewel filled with history, memory, and symbolism. The Duke's eyes filled with tears as he explained that for the Queen, this necklace was more than a glittering ornament. It was a reminder of endurance, strength, and trust, a treasure meant to be worn as a symbol of responsibility, not merely for beauty. Catherine, ever composed, listened with quiet reverence, her face reflecting both humility and honor. The decree went further still. It included guidance on how Catherine should safeguard the family itself. The Queen had urged her to always place emotional well-being at the heart of royal life, even when the outside world demanded relentless duty. These words echoed sentiments previously shared by Princess Anne, who had often spoken of the Queen's wish for the family to remain strong as individuals, not just as an institution. By weaving together authority and compassion, the decree positioned Catherine as a stabilizing presence, much like the Queen herself had been for decades. What made this decree so extraordinary was its mixture of official power and personal influence. Catherine was being encouraged to step into a role no consort had held before. She could speak and act freely on causes close to her heart, such as mental health, family welfare, and sustainability, without the restrictions that had bound others in her position. Royal observers quickly noted how this vision aligned with the Queen's own journey, from the challenges of post-war Britain to the rapid social changes of the 21st century. Queen Elizabeth II had endured it all with resilience, and in Catherine, she saw a spiritual successor ready to carry that torch. The decree was never intended for public announcement. It was written as a private charge, a secret legacy to be revealed only when the family most needed it. As the Duke of Kent recited the Queen's words, one line stood out with particular force: "Family first, duty second, but both intertwined." It was a philosophy that had guided Elizabeth's reign and one she hoped would live on through Catherine. By 2025, King Charles III himself confirmed Catherine's new powers, publicly endorsing her right to issue royal warrants and acknowledging her influence as an essential part of the monarchy's future. The economic impact alone was staggering, estimated at more than $1 billion every year. But beyond the numbers was something greater. Catherine now had a tool to shape cultural and commercial life in ways that reflected her values. Every warrant she signed, every cause she supported would ripple out into society, reinforcing not just the monarchy's relevance, but also its humanity. What more secrets could the Queen's command contain? Let's take a closer look. Queen Secret Command. The scope of the decree stretches far beyond what most people might imagine. It is not merely about signing official warrants or approving ceremonial papers. Instead, it reaches into the very heart of how the royal family governs itself and how the monarchy sets its direction for the future. According to insiders close to the palace, the decree grants Catherine a sweeping advisory role, placing her firmly at the table where the most important decisions are made. This means she is not only guiding the family in matters of personal unity and well-being, but also helping to shape broader institutional strategies. From influencing which charitable initiatives receive royal support to setting the tone for protocols that govern royal engagements, Catherine is now seen as a central decision-maker in palace operations. This new position is extraordinary because it breaks with centuries of tradition. In the past, such levels of influence were carefully guarded, reserved almost exclusively for the sovereign or the most senior members of the royal family. By giving Catherine this authority, the decree effectively makes her more than a supportive consort. It makes her a true partner in preparing for Prince William's eventual reign. Palace sources close to King Charles have suggested that he sees this as a carefully thought-out strategy. In his eyes, Catherine is not only capable but proven. Her strength during her health struggles in 2024 showed her resilience to the world. To Charles, That resilience is precisely what the monarchy needs if it is to remain strong and stable in a world that is constantly shifting and questioning the role of royalty. What makes this decree even more remarkable is not just the breadth of power it grants, but its flexibility. Rather than binding Catherine with strict duties or limiting her to rigid roles, it gives her room to adapt her influence to whatever the monarchy might need in the future. This flexibility reflects the Queen's forward-looking vision, a vision rooted in the idea that the monarchy must evolve if it is to survive. Previous consorts often had to fit into narrow expectations, their roles defined by duty alone, with little space for individuality. Catherine's role is different. She can pour her energy into causes that matter most to her, like early childhood development, which has long been a passion she has championed through her royal foundation. At the same time, she has the freedom to navigate the ever-changing challenges of public life with the emotional intelligence that has earned her admiration across the world. In many ways, this mirrors the late Queen's own approach during her lifetime, balancing unshakable duty with human compassion. By granting Catherine this authority, the Queen was making it clear that she believed Catherine could carry forward that same legacy, blending strength with empathy, tradition with modern sensibility. Another central theme of the decree is family unity. It underscores the importance of emotional well-being within the royal family, a theme that has become increasingly relevant in recent years as the family has faced everything from health crises to public controversies. By naming Catherine as the one to nurture these bonds, the Queen entrusted her with the role of a stabilizer, someone who can hold the family together in turbulent times. And this is not an abstract hope. Royal watchers have already noticed small but meaningful signs of Catherine's growing influence. Her initiatives are gaining prominence. Her projects are being highlighted more than ever, and her presence at public events radiates a calm confidence that reassures not only the family, but also the public at large. Of course, this power does not come without its challenges. Balancing such authority with the traditional expectations placed on a consort requires delicacy and wisdom. Catherine has had years of practice in this balancing act. She has mastered the art of appearing both regal and relatable. Whether she is giving a carefully crafted speech about mental health or being photographed casually on a school run with her children. These moments make her influence feel authentic and grounded, never distant or unreachable. The Queen's decree, as described by those who know its details, is ultimately a statement of faith. It reflects the belief that Catherine is not only prepared for a larger role, but destined to redefine what royalty can mean in the 21st century. Rather than being confined by tradition, she is encouraged to reshape it, blending age-old customs with modern values that resonate with people across the globe. But were they still feeling the Queen's absence? Let's find out. Emotional reflection of Queen Elizabeth. The jewel at the center of this revelation is far more than a sparkling ornament. It is not just another royal trinket hidden in the vaults of history, but a piece that carries the weight of memory, love, and legacy. This is the story of the priceless pink diamond necklace, a treasure bound up with the life of the late Queen and now with Catherine, whose role in the royal family has grown more important with each passing year. Its story begins in 1947, when a rare gem was unearthed at the Mwadui mine in Tanzania. It was no ordinary stone, but a pink diamond of 23.6 carats, considered one of the purest and most beautiful of its kind ever found. Its intense color set it apart, for pink diamonds are so scarce that even the most seasoned jewel experts stand in awe when one appears. The diamond was presented as a gift to the young Princess Elizabeth on the occasion of her marriage to Prince Philip. The giver was Dr. John Thoburn Williamson, a Canadian geologist who had discovered the gem. His offering was more than a glittering stone. It was a symbol of the admiration and goodwill that the world felt toward the radiant young bride who would one day become queen. The gift was both intimate and global, carrying with it the hopes of nations and the affection of strangers who saw in Elizabeth the promise of continuity and stability. In 1953, the diamond was entrusted to Cartier, the legendary jeweler, who transformed it into a brooch shaped like a jonquil flower. The design was delicate yet striking, its soft pink center surrounded by smaller diamonds that made it appear as though it bloomed with light. The Queen loved it deeply. She wore it not only to grand state banquets but also to family occasions such as weddings, where its gentle shimmer spoke of elegance without ostentation. But behind palace walls, whispers suggested that the Queen later asked for a more private adaptation of the jewel. Parts of the diamond, jewelers revealed quietly, were reworked into a necklace meant not for parades of power, but for gatherings of intimacy. Unlike the heavy crowns and dazzling tiaras displayed before the world, this necklace was personal. It was something she could wear among her children and grandchildren. Did Catherine eventually get the diamond? Let's find out. Presentation of the diamond to Catherine. The news of Queen Elizabeth II's secret decree landed upon Catherine, the Princess of Wales, with a weight that went far beyond tradition and protocol. Catherine had always been admired for her steady strength, even during her personal struggles, but in this moment, her composure softened. As the Duke of Kent, frail yet dignified, revealed the Queen's trust and wishes, Catherine's eyes filled with tears that she could not hold back. This was not only about a royal decree, or even the priceless pink diamond necklace that carried with it decades of history. It was something far greater, the late Queen's deep and unwavering belief in her, a validation of Catherine's place not just as William's wife, but as a leader in her own right, a royal figure of the present and of the future. Those present described the scene as tender and unforgettable. Catherine sat quietly at the Duke's bedside, her hand clasped tightly in his as though she were drawing strength from him, while at the same time offering him her own. Every word he spoke seemed to bind her more closely to the legacy of Queen Elizabeth. Standing just behind her, Prince William watched with emotion written clearly across his face. His eyes shone with pride and awe, for he knew that this recognition of his wife's strength was also a reflection of his grandmother's wisdom. To him, it was not just a touching family moment, but also a bridge between what had been and what was yet to come. A reminder of the Queen's foresight as he slowly edges closer to his own destiny as king. The decree, and all it symbolized, rippled outward through the family. For William, it reaffirmed Catherine's central role, not simply as his companion, but as the guiding force who would help shape their children, George, Charlotte, and Louis, into the future heirs of the crown. Those close to the family revealed that husband and wife shared a glance in that quiet room, a glance that spoke volumes of gratitude, of shared responsibility, and of an unbreakable sense of purpose. Even King Charles, who had been grappling with his own health troubles in 2024, found a measure of peace in the Queen's decree. He saw in it a confirmation of his own vision for a more focused, modern monarchy. By empowering Catherine, he believed the institution itself would be made stronger, more resilient in the face of both private and public challenges. His later decision to grant Catherine the authority to issue royal warrants, an extraordinary privilege, was more than symbolic. It gave her tangible influence over Britain's cultural and economic life, with her endorsements capable of shaping entire industries and impacting billions in trade. The decree also touched the hearts of the wider royal family. Princess Anne, ever the embodiment of hard work and duty, reportedly nodded her approval when she learned of it, recalling her private conversations with her mother, the Queen, about the need to adapt and modernize the monarchy. For her, Catherine's empowerment felt like the natural continuation of that vision. The Duke of Kent's own family felt its impact deeply. His daughter, Lady Helen Taylor, later spoke of her father's sense of relief that he had been able to fulfill this final duty to his cousin, the late Queen. It was in his eyes the last act of loyalty to the monarch he had served faithfully all his life. Even the younger royals, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, felt the significance. With Queen Elizabeth II's decree now revealed, and the priceless necklace resting with Catherine, the Princess of Wales has been positioned at the very center of the monarchy's future. What does this decree mean for Catherine? Let's find out. The decree of continuity. The decree goes far beyond rules or paperwork. It touches the very heart of how the royal family will be guided in the years to come. By placing Catherine, the Princess of Wales, at the center of this vision, it makes her not only a figure of grace, but also a leader for the next generation. Just as Queen Elizabeth II once did, Catherine is expected to help the younger royals grow strong in spirit and steady in the face of the unrelenting pressures of public life. Among the most striking symbols of this responsibility is the necklace itself. Adorned with rare pink diamonds, it is no ordinary jewel. It is meant to be worn at moments of great significance, perhaps a glittering state banquet, a royal jubilee, or an important diplomatic gathering. To the world, it will shine not only as a beautiful ornament, but also as a message of continuity, linking the Queen's vision of the monarchy with Catherine's role in shaping its future. The unusual pink stones, delicate yet enduring, reflect Catherine's own path. From a shy and composed young woman stepping carefully into royal life to a confident and transformative figure whose influence now touches the very core of the institution. Historians and royal watchers whisper with excitement that her first appearance with the necklace may be at a high-profile diplomatic event. If so, the gesture would be clear. Catherine is stepping into her role, not just as a consort beside William, but as a powerful partner in the work of carrying the monarchy forward. The necklace is not simply an adornment, it is a beacon, a reminder of Queen Elizabeth's trust in Catherine to embody both compassion and modern vision. Looking to the future, Catherine's influence is expected to spread even further. Her long-standing dedication to causes such as mental health, the well-being of young children, and environmental sustainability fits perfectly with the Queen's hope for a monarchy that stays connected to the real needs of society. Already, reports suggest Catherine is consulting advisors on how to refine royal warrants, those official endorsements long associated with the Crown, so that they highlight companies and brands with strong ethical standards. In this way, her choices may help amplify messages of responsibility and global awareness, reshaping centuries-old traditions into tools that reflect today's values. The flexibility built into the decree is perhaps its most striking feature. It gives Catherine the space to support William not merely as his wife, but as a true co-architect of a monarchy that is both streamlined and relevant to modern life. This does not diminish tradition. It breathes new life into it. For the wider royal family, the decree also acts as a unifying force. King Charles, managing his own health challenges, sees Catherine as a steadying presence who can help maintain stability during uncertain times. The younger royals, especially Prince George, now look to her as both a role model and a mentor. Even seasoned figures within the family, like Princess Anne, are said to quietly support this shift, recognizing in Catherine's rise a new chapter for royal women, one where duty is blended with personal strength and agency. So what do you think about the Duke of Kent's surprising revelation? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe.